TV.
It's my signature, I guess. Jiggy Jag TV. We are out here at the ICT Comic Con, and we have the legend, artist, writer, producer, pretty much the busiest man in comics. He is busier than a goat in a hailstorm. Rick Stasi, how are you?
I'm well. How are you, sir? Thank you for that very humbling introduction, sir.
So you're here at the Comic Con. You've got all sorts of things for sale.
Yes, I have real estate. I have a used '57 Chevy. No, I have.
There's a Jawa here wandering around. Probably get you some parts.
There you go. I have artwork that I have done. I have a career that started in the '70s in the comic book business. So, work I've done for Marvel Comics in DC. I had the pleasure to work with Stan Lee on some occasions. Warner Brothers, Steven Spielberg for Looney Tunes and Tiny Toons, Disney, and the beat goes on and on. So I've been very fortunate to love comics, to draw comics, to teach comics, and to share that with everybody for two reasons. That's what I want to do at these shows. Number one. Number two, I'm still alive. So you got to do what you got to do. I'm still alive.
You amaze me by saying that you're still alive, because you don't look a day over 30 years old.
Thank you. I'm times two that and going on. Yeah, I'm lucky at my age to stand up and take nourishment, but that's okay. Yeah.
So
it's going well, isn't it?
Hey, I'll tell you, I love that voice. You must have. You done some broadcasting.
I do some radio broadcasting sometimes. I'll tell you what I've done. I've recorded. I do the comics and stuff, right?
Yeah.
But I started doing some serious writing and some silly writing, and I published my first book of poetry called Funny You Should Ask, and I self-published. And people said, we really like that stuff. Are you still writing? I said yes. And I'm writing poetry, little 2-page, 1-act plays, a lot of music. I'm on YouTube under Rick Stasi, Stasi, 9th Street Productions. Original funny music and serious stuff and voices and crazy things. And I play all the instruments myself. I have guest voices with me. But the radio voice, here's my double album, which if you're watching on your radio station, you can't see this. Yeah, YouTube. And this is Talking to Myself to You. Everybody in their life should have their own make their own Abbey Road. For those of you who remember Abbey Road, or the double album, because that's what I did. So, and here's my final book I've written called Letters from the Exodus. A lot of new work, a lot of work about COVID, about our lives now as we know it, and then some blues songs I've written, other things in there too. So, I do all this stuff.
You are fantastic.
And you are charming.
Don't let that get around. That'll ruin your
Okay, all right.
So, tell me a little bit about your most popular things at these Comic Cons, because I'm sure you have some popular.
I think, and I'm thankful to be able to draw the characters I like, and I try to do them in their essential, soulful element. Okay, if I'm going to do Spidey, you go for the essential Spidey, the stretched out fingers and the body language, etc. Daredevil in his grittiness. Superman is my number one favorite, but I get more requests for Batman, because with Batman, people love Batman, but I love Batman since the 50s. And if somebody says, I want that old school Batman from the 50s, or I want the one from the 60s where he was more streak and streamlined, or I want the one from the movies, or I want the one that's inspired by the cartoons, I do them all. And because I speak Batman, speaking Batman is in like 10 languages, because people say, I don't get that. That's not your Batman. That was the one from 1959. Oh, cool. I like this one. Well, that's because it is your Batman. It looks more like my...
You know what's funny is when I went to see the Spider-Man movie, that's the last thing I got to tell you, because you're
Oh, don't leave. Oh, don't leave.
Spider-Man...
Leave her with me.
Well, there's been a lot of people that have said, just leave Brittany.
Brittany, you can stay. I'll get a note from my wife.
One of the things, when I was watching that last Spider-Man movie,
yeah,
and Tobey Maguire shows up,
yeah,
that's my Spider-Man.
Absolutely.
Tom Holland's not my Spider-Man. He's some British guy.
I'll tell you. Yeah, there you go. I like them all. I think Tobey Maguire may be my favorite. But since I do shows all the time, and people say, "Who's a good guest?" I would look for, sit down, Nicholas Hammond. Nicholas Hammond
Nicholas Hammond.
was the first Spider-Man on CBS TV. The first time, and I own these copies of this bootleg. There was a CBS series in the 70s. Stan was just trying to make some progress.
Spider-Man, Spider-Man.
No, that's the cartoon.
Oh, okay.
But this is live action with Nicholas Hammond. If you don't remember him from Spider-Man, shame on you. He was he was a little boy in The Sound of Music.
Oh, The Sound of Music. I don't think Brittany even knows what The Sound of Music is.
Probably not. You see, Brittany, I've outlived my life expectancy many times over. But Nicholas Hammond was the first Spider-Man on CBS TV. And so that's who I'd like to see come to a convention, because
He'd get mobbed.
that's one of the few people I think I'd like to stand in line and say, thanks for being the first one. And I'd buy a picture autographed from my studio.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So, yeah, we all have our own Batman or Superman. My Superman is George Reeves from the 1950s TV show.
See, mine is the one behind you there.
This one? This one?
Yes.
Christopher Reeve? Yeah, he's a legend. And I got lucky and I met him after the...
That's badass.
Well, it is very badass. I was standing like this.
Yeah.
He was sitting on some steps at Crown Center Hotel in Kansas City. He just did a little press junket, and I walked up, introduced myself, and shook hands with him because I'm a big Superman fan. And he stood up from the stairs. He kept standing. And he looked, and I thought, my God, this guy really is like a demigod among men, and a nicer guy you never met.
Yep.
And he's the sweetest guy. So, yeah, Chris Reeve is a great Superman.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well,
Superman is in the house.
Speaking of-
King is here. ICT
Speaking
coming
of the devil,
up.
the
Come see
devil.
ya.
so I want to thank the legend, Mr. Rick Stasi, and thanks for watching Jiggy Jag TV.
Thank you so much.